Alright, welcome back to Adobe Animate CC. In the previous tutorial, we actually brought in these zombie images and animated based upon a tint and then a alpha transparency here, as you can see. What I want to do next is actually adjust the timeline here. So the animation timeline. So I'm going to move down just a little bit here. You can see this little guy here allows you to zoom in and out, and then this guy allows you to slide across. So what I actually want to do is zoom in a little bit just so it's easier to grab these individual points, because I want these animations to be stacked and to be a little bit shorter. So if I grab this first point here, I can, this keyframe, I can move it into position, and you'll see now that it has adjusted. So as I drag across, we get this kind of effect. Now I want this transition to be a little bit smoother, a little bit faster, so what I'm going to do is actually move it in just a little bit more. Probably something like that would be good. And then for the alpha transparency, I actually want to move it too. So what I'm going to do is actually grab this keyframe, move it in quite a bit, and then adjust this one, move that one in. So and it's going to take a little bit of finessing here to figure out exactly where I want, but I want you to understand you can always adjust the animation, so you can have sort of this quicker fade here. If I hit enter to kind of adjust, you can see here how it has more of a flashing effect. One more time, and that's kind of what I want. I want this zombie to kind of just appear like a flash warning. So let's zoom out a little bit, and you can see how much smaller it is, this one here. So what I'm going to do is kind of move each of these keyframes to about the same position. Okay, so I'm going to click on each of these and drag them in to the same position here. This will make it easier because then each animation will be pretty much exactly the same. The only other thing I have to do is slide over and then grab these first keyframes and drag them to the front here. So I'm going to do that, click on this guy, and click on that guy. There we go. So now they're all kind of short, which is what I want. But now I actually want to move them. So I can't really, as you can see, it's a little bit tricky to move. You could select them all and slide them, and that's probably the best way to do it right now. There are other ways to move these keyframes, but I kind of wanted to show you that you can simply highlight them. So I'm going to highlight this row in particular, which is the girl. I'm going to drag her kind of towards the front here. Right about there is probably good. And they don't have to be exactly evenly spaced out or anything, but I kind of wanted to have this effect where, you know, there's like a flash between each one. I'm going to move this one so they're kind of stacked, and they can overlap a little bit, so we get this effect. Let's see how this looks. Boom, boom, boom. I mean, that's kind of interesting. Let's hit enter and see how this looks. Yeah, I kind of like that, where actually they stack in 3 different areas. I think that looks pretty good. So let's zoom back out, move to the left here. The next thing I want to do is each of these I want to actually add some ease. So even when they're flashing, I'm going to try to add some ease here. And on this one, let's see, I'll ease out instead of in. Let's see how that would work. Yeah, it has a little bit of an interesting effect by doing that. So what I'm doing with each of these is I'm easing out on between the tint, and then the alpha I'm easing in. So I'm going to the left all the way to 100% negative, like that. So just to give it a slightly different effect. So this one, drag to the 100. In between here, drag it to the negative 100. Alright, let's see how this looks. Zoom all the way out and hit enter. So you get this flash, 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 and then you get the rotation with the zombie outbreak warning. Now the only thing I'm kind of interested in doing is perhaps this rotation of this, the graphic could have a something where it sort of slowly appears. Right now it doesn't really slowly appear at all. So if I drag inwards a little bit to about here, and then I can right click, I can insert a keyframe, and you'll see that the animation still continues. It doesn't change at all. But maybe on this keyframe, I'm going to switch the graphic to alpha and make it 100% at this keyframe. Right? And it looks like I accidentally grabbed the wrong layer. So sometimes this happens, and one way to prevent that from happening is you can lock down all the other layers so you know, hey, I just want to work with this graphic here. I have the keyframe in the right spot, but unfortunately I was grabbing the other zombie because it does fill this whole frame here. So now I only have this one selected, this graphic, and then I'm going to click in here and choose alpha. And again, I'm going to crank that all the way up to 100% out there. Now I'm going to come back to the first point here, and again I have to select the graphic, then switch to alpha and bring it down to 0. So now we get this effect where it sort of fades in, which is kind of nice. Alright, let's try it one more time. Hit enter, and looks pretty cool. Do it one more time. The flash, the flash, the flash. Get the nice little rotation and the zombie outbreak warning. So looking pretty good. I'm definitely digging this. Perhaps in the future we'll maybe add maybe a couple of additional effects, but I'm starting to really like this. Until next time, cheers.